My name is Attorney Kyla Coleman. I practice primarily in the Central Florida area. However, I'm licensed to practice all over Florida, but I mainly focus there. I've been practicing for 9 years now. And is there anything else I should add? I'm ready to jump into the juicy.
All right, you heard them. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hey, if you've ever had experience with child support cases on either side, drop a comment below. Let's get the discussion rolling.
Stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, before we get into that, you said Central Florida.
Yes.
I'm not from Florida at all. I've been to certain parts of Florida.
Okay.
So for those that do not understand where Central Florida is located, explain that to them.
Okay, so we're talking about Orlando, Tampa, and like the surrounding counties. Seminole County, if anybody's watching from Florida, which I know you have a lot of followers from Florida. So Seminole County, Orange County, Hillsborough, if those are ringing a bell to you, that's where I practice.
Okay. All right.
And when we say special, we mean expert in the field, someone who's going to break it all down for us. Trust me, you do not want to miss this one.
All right. So let's get into it. Your practice area. Practice area is family law. Family law, what does that entail?
So family law is domestic violence injunctions, divorces, paternity cases, which are my favorite. Anything regarding family and children, minus elderly, that's a whole different area of law.
Really? In Florida it is?
Elder law.
Oh, okay. Well, we have an elder law here in Texas as well. I couldn't tell you anything about it because I don't know anything about it. All right. So you said paternity is your favorite. We'll get back to that.
Okay.
One. Let's talk about child support in Florida. How would someone go about applying for a child support case?
So it's a couple of different ways you can do it. So if you're more so focused on the money itself.
Wait, hold up. So family law and elder law are two completely different worlds? That's an interesting distinction. Any elder law attorneys watching? Let us know what that world looks like.
And you're not married, you would go through the Department of Revenue and apply for child support there. You'll actually get a court-appointed attorney that works for the state, and you can apply for child support there. Typically, that's if you're receiving some sort of government assistance. A lot of times they'll automatically start a child support case for you to make sure that you're receiving money from whoever your child's father is on top of whatever other government resources you need. And then the other way you can do it is through paternity or divorce cases.
All right. So someone who is on government assistance, the state of Florida will automatically open up a child support case?
Yes, because they're trying to make sure that you're getting all of your resources. So before they allot whatever it is that they determine you need, they're going to go after to make sure that the father is also providing as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens here in Texas as well, because a lot of people, when they've come in my office, when I used to practice law, they'll say, man, she put me on child support. And I've been paying, and I've been doing this, and I've been doing that. And when we get to
That right there is a huge moral dilemma. What would you do in this situation? Accept government help and risk triggering a case, or avoid it altogether? Let's hear those thoughts in the comments.
court, the mother would say, well, I didn't put you on child support. And she was really telling the truth.
Yeah, a lot of people think that the woman might be lying, but it's not the case. So either you were gonna put food in your child's mouth, you know what I'm saying, getting food stamps and things like that, or you can say, well, no, I'm not gonna do that just so that I don't do a child support case. So sometimes the moms are actually denying government assistance just so that they don't have to go after the father and be accused of putting him on child support.
Great point, great point. So when you after you open up this child support case, and it's on the paternity side, not the
Department of Revenue.
Department of Revenue. So you focus more on the paternity side.
Yes. Now I will jump in on the Department of Revenue case if a father comes to hire me to defend him on that. Because like you said, some dads are saying, hey, I do pay child support. I don't know why she went to the courts. And if it's involuntary, you know, it's not her fault. But I will jump in to maybe help him show proof that he has been paying. Because in Florida, you can go back to 2 years of back child support. So
wait a minute. In Florida, back child support goes back only 2 years?
Only 2 years, unfortunately.
Do you know what it is in Texas?
No, wait, hold on. You better not say no big number.
Well, it's larger than 2.
Okay.
4 years.
That is a blessing.
Yeah,
I like that.
4 years in Texas.
I like that.
Wow.
I feel like Florida should do more, but I mean, you have so many people that pass through Florida on a daily basis. You have people that are snowbirds, which we call them, like they live in Florida 6 months, go back elsewhere for 6 months. So much traveling that they might be like, you know what, let's just go 2 years, because we don't even know if a person has been living here 4 years or, you know, longer than that.
Oh, wow. That is a vast difference.
Yeah.
So if someone...
Now this is wild. Only 2 years? Texas is out here saying, hold my gavel with a 4-year look-back period. What's the deal in your state? Drop it in the comments.
Is living in Florida and they decide to move, they need to come to Texas.
Yes, I would say come to Texas if you want some good child support, apparently.
Okay, all right, all right. So the next steps, what happens after they apply for child support, they hire you, you take it to court, what happens next?
So if we're talking about on the Department of Revenue side, my first questions are going to be asking him, show me how you've paid child support so that we could at least go to court with some sort of proof, because they will give you credit for whatever you've paid. So I see lately a lot of fathers are paying, or whoever's ordered to pay child support is paying through like Cash App or Venmo. So I'll look at their breakdown of that just so that when we go to court, we have evidence that this person has been supporting the child. So that's what I do on the Department of Revenue side.
Before you move on, you said something very key. You check those records for a Cash App and everything like that.
Yes.
How often does someone really bring you in that type of evidence?
Well, I asked for it off rip. That's Florida language. I asked for that off top.
Okay.
So I want to know what person I'm representing. I do not represent bad dads. I do not represent bad parents in general. So if you come to me and you're telling me that you have not paid child support and this baby is maybe 5 or 6 years old, I'm not gonna deal with you, because my reputation is on the line. I only represent good people. And if I know that you have been actively participating in this child's life or trying to, and the other parent has blocked you out, then I'm ready to go to bat. If you come to me and you don't have a past history of paying any child support, I'm not gonna deal with you at all.
Well, you all heard that, right?
I mean, because these babies didn't ask to be here. They did not ask to be here. They cannot advocate for themselves. And so if I'm gonna be in court, I'm gonna be advocating for somebody that I truly believe in.
You all need to hire her. Let's you know what? Let's take a break really quick, because you just gave out a plethora of information right there, dropped some major gems, and all these people know is your first and your last name and where you are practicing. Tell them how they can reach you. If somebody is watching right now in Seminole County, in Tampa, how can they reach you if they want to hire you?
Well, I will say this, I am Googleable. So if you want to Google me, you can.
This is a good Google search. Not the other searches that we talk about, right?
Oh,
no,
yes.
It's a good Google search.
Good Google search, yes. But I can give my phone number out here?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay,
please.
so it's 407-801-9533. You can find me on social media as well under my name, Kyla A. Coleman. And that's pretty much on all social media platforms.
Okay, and give us the spelling of your name, because Kyla is spelled a little different.
My mom did some things with my name, so yes, so it's spelled C-A-I-L-A. And to my knowledge, I'm the only Kyla A. Coleman that practices law, so.
Okay, all right, and that's on Twitter, that's on Facebook, Instagram. You have a TikTok?
I don't know how to work TikTok like that.
Okay.
So no, don't try to look on there. But yeah, Facebook is mainly where I will do business with someone. So if you want to message me on there, that's absolutely fine. Or if you want to just go directly to my email, it's Kai, so C-A-I, @colemanlaw.net.
Okay, and your website, did we talk about your website?
It's just colemanlaw.net.
Okay, all right. They need to know this because you are giving really, really good information out. And if someone wants to even consult with you, if they want to represent themselves, at least you can guide them and tell them how to get where they're trying to go.
And that's one thing that I do believe in, because in Florida, I'm not sure how it is in Texas, but in Florida, you do not have to have an attorney to represent you in family law. So some people may not be able to afford all of my services, but when I do my consultation, I try to make it thorough so that a person does feel like if they do need to represent themselves, at least they have the first steps to go about doing that.
Absolutely.
I do take payment plans or whatnot, but if a person can't afford me, I want to make sure that they at least feel empowered once they leave my office.
Good for you.
Thank
I like
you.
that. Now, you go to court with your client. The judge makes a ruling, places someone on child support, does an order and everything like that. Before someone goes to court, should they pay child support without being under an order?
I would say so, yes.
All right.
Because that goes back to what I was saying prior. My clients, I require them to be good parents. I've actually had some dads recently that'll come to me when they know they're in a rocky relationship and they're not married to that person. And I'm saying not married for a reason, because there are different laws that apply to non-married children versus children born of a marriage. Anywho, they'll come to me and they know their relationship is rocky. Mom might be about to give birth, and so they'll ask me what to do. And so I'll let them know, hey, you know, if you guys are not living together, start paying her a little something. And I'll ask, you know, what their income is. So usually I would say, if you could pay between $200 to $500, I know that sounds like a lot, but I'd rather you pay more and be ordered to pay less and get credit for it than to not pay anything at all.
I was just about to ask you about the benefit of it. So that's the benefit, to be able to get credit.
Yes, and it does two things for me. One, you're taking care of your child, which I love. Two, you're establishing credibility with the court. So now you're coming into the courthouse and the judge is looking at you like, oh man, you've been doing this before you were ordered to do it. It makes you not seem like a better person, but you are in better standing with the court when you come before them.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And that credit that we're referring to, is it credit towards the back pay or the current child support obligation?
Towards the back pay.
Okay.
Because like you asked me before, they can go back 2 years. And so I'm not sure how quickly child support cases roll in Texas, but sometimes it takes a long time in Florida. So you might have filed a case, say in 2021, but it might not get resolved sometimes until 2022, 2023. So you're getting credit all of that time.
Yeah. Well, we definitely have some lag. I will say that child support cases have moved a lot faster since COVID because everything is pretty much virtual. I believe the Office of the Attorney General, the attorneys that work there only go into the office maybe once a month or something like that.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, they're rolling, doing it virtually. If I'm not mistaken, a given docket on any day could be like 500 cases.
Whoa.
It was a lot. So if you think about 500 people on a given day sitting in the courthouse, they don't have to do that anymore. They're just rolling them out on, you know, the Zoom. So it's moving a lot quicker than what it used to, but there is still some lag depending on, you know, if you're going to bring witnesses to court, if you're going to have all of these exhibits that you need to enter into evidence and everything like that. So yeah.
Well, that's the one critique I will say about Florida, is sometimes things take longer than necessary, I believe.
Why do you think that is?
Florida's crazy. I'll just start there. A lot of you guys
I
watching.
didn't say it. She
and
said
I'm from
it.
Florida, so I can say it. I'm from Florida, so I can say it. But yeah, you know, I don't know. I wish that it was more efficient, but that's why I try to set my clients up in the best position that I can, because I know it can be slow. And I'd rather them get credit and, you know, do the right thing as we go along. So when the case does finally close, they're on the upswing of things.
All right. In a judge's child support court order, could they order an alternative to money exchanging from one parent to the other one?
Yes. So Florida does it a few different ways. You can do an income withholding order, meaning that it'll go directly to the employer. And so it'll take a portion directly from that check and it'll go through the Florida disbursement unit, meaning it'll go through there and then it'll be dispersed to the mother or whoever is ordered to receive child support. That's one way. Then you can do, like I said, Cash App, whatever it is that you want to do. But for me, I like the disbursement unit because it keeps a running total of what's going on. And then if there's any dispute, you have the state of Florida keeping track of how much was actually paid. The only thing I don't like is sometimes if a father has had credit prior to the disbursement unit, sometimes they aren't quick on giving him credit for that.
And that puts him in arrears, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, I know in Texas, we have a disbursement unit too. It's located in San Antonio, Texas. Where is the Florida State Disbursement Unit located?
Tallahassee, the capital.
Okay, all right, great.
So my clients will be like, well, yeah, the check went to Tallahassee. And I'm like, I already know what that means, so.
Okay, all right. And I hear you saying a lot, dad. Do you mostly represent fathers?
I do. I love a good dad, mainly because I did not grow up in a household with a father. My mom is excellent, and I saw her do it by herself, and I wanted to know the psychology behind, why fathers weren't really being participatory with with children in Florida. And in my anger of trying to research that, I found out that some dads are really being blocked by the court system. That was not the case with my dad, so let's not get that twisted. But when I realized that, I said, okay, well, I really want to help these fathers out a lot. A lot of times they come to me and they're in a negative position when it comes to child support. They're thinking, oh, it's bad. And I'm like, no, it's good. It's a good thing because it's showing that you really care about these babies. If a person tries to take you to court, you already have something in your back pocket because you've been doing what you need to do. Also, you're establishing rights. I want you to have those rights and responsibilities to be able to raise your child. So I really love a good dad.
Good for you. You're such a good person.
Thank you.
You know, very seldomly do you hear females, especially, talk about the representation of fathers in court. I know when I practiced law, majority of my clients were guys. So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. That wasn't my experience. My dad was in the home, but going to school